Hi and welcome back to It's a Miracle Beauty. Today I am doing 3 looks, 1 palette with the Urban Decay Ultraviolet Naked Palette. This is the third look. I was attempting to do a work look, something basic without any purple. I did throw a little bit of violet or purple from an Urban Decay 24/7 eyeliner in my lower line, and I did add some color mascara just to kind of bring it out a little bit because it is a neutrally look. It is probably the easiest, most basic look I did of this palette. I do show you the application of the 3 different looks and the finished look of each one, and at the very end there is my review of the palette overall. Do you need to run out and buy this today? Do you need it in your collection, or is it worth buying? I hope you will stay to the very end and see my review and my thoughts on this palette. But in the meantime, I hope you will like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and let's get into the first look. So when you open it up, the palette does look like this. It does come with a brush. I am not going to use that brush. I'm going to use my own. This did come with some, not damage to it, but it definitely was kicked up. If you look around, this shade in particular has some kick up, but I think I'm going to use this one as my transition shade. That one is called Hacked. I've actually never been a big Naked fan, like the actual Naked palette and the Naked, 1, 2, 3, etc. I've never cared for. I want to say it was a mini Naked, and I owned a larger one, and I did not like either one of them. I actually gave them away. And then the Naked Honey came out. Actually, I think I got Urban Decay's Born to Run before that, and that one, that's one of my favorite palettes ever. I think that it doesn't get enough credit. I got the Born to Run, and it opened me up to trying more Urban Decay because I love that palette. It's literally one of my favorite palettes of all time, and I think it's just so easy to use. I think you don't have to be an expert, you don't have to have any skills, but I also think it has such a variety in it that you really can build a lot of different looks with it. I ended up getting the Born to Run half off at Ulta, and I think it was about 4 months later the Naked Honey came out, and I love that palette. That literally is one of my favorite palettes I've ever owned too. It really just works really well. I actually think I'm going to go in with this Warning shade right here. I think I'm going to do that one on my entire crease and just above my crease. I purchased that Reloaded because it was half off. I would have never purchased it otherwise. It just wasn't anything that was like I was dying to have or needed, but it was half off, and I had been looking for something easy to use for work. And then I got the Naked Honey, and the Naked Honey, I love that palette. It is smooth like butter. It works great. I think it's one of the best Naked formulas of all of their palettes, even though Born to Run is probably my most favorite palette. Really, that one's like in my top 3 of all palettes, not just Urban Decay's. But when this one released, it literally just spoke vibes to me. I hunted on the internet to find out where I could order it. And actually, Angie Nyquist is a YouTuber. I believe she's in Sweden, if I'm not mistaken. And she mentioned Beauty Cult had it. And I went there, and sure enough, they shipped it, and it came today. I think I'm going to use a packer brush, and I'm going to actually wet my brush. This time, I think I'm going to do this purple dust right here. It's like it's not a duochrome, but it's like, I think that they were going for the look of a metallic, but I think it's really just a shimmer. I haven't even swatched these yet, so if this doesn't turn out, it'd be normal brandy. Next, I'm going to grab Digital. That is the last shade right over here on the end. It does look like that. I'm going to grab that and just deepen the outside corner just a little bit to add some dimension and depth to it and kind of blend between these two so it kind of merges it all. Kind of blend out. Now I will say right here on the outside, I don't think it's as visible here, but when I went to blend back, it almost blended away a little bit of that shadow. So I would be careful over blending these. I think that could be an issue. Again, first impression, not 100% positive. I do feel like over here it muddied a little bit right in the pink, and not just because I moved my brush, like it muddied this whole area out here. That actually helped it a little bit. I'm actually going to go finish the rest of my makeup and my eye makeup, and I will come back and show you the finished product, and then we'll move on to the next look. So this is the finished look. So full transparency, I think that this palette is really easy to work with. So this is the first look. First I used this warning shade right here. Then I used Purple Dust on my actual lid. And then in the corner I used the digital, and I had used the Hacked as a kind of transition shade. So for the very first look, I think that these blend really well. I think they're easy to work with. I think that you have the ability to make them kind of kapow, or you have the ability to kind of make it more subtle. Like with this, I definitely wanted a kind of subtle look for the first one. Like you could wear this to work. I mean, it is purple, but I mean, if you like color, this is definitely a work-friendly look. The other thing I wanted to point out is that I initially tried using this Purple Dust shade with a wet brush, and it honestly made it horrible. It didn't look good, it wasn't right, and it already made like almost like a hard pan in the palette. So I would recommend on all of these shimmers using your finger and not even messing with a brush. Once I did my finger, I actually got really good pigment. I got really good, results. So that is my recommendation. So this is look number 1, and let's keep it. This is look 2, and you can tell it's hair washing day, so don't mind the crazy hair. But I'm going to try to do a halo eye today, I think. I was kind of looking at this last night, trying to decide what I wanted to do, and I think that's what I'm going to work on. I do have it prepped and set. I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to start with doing a transition shade of this Optimized shade. It does look like this. It's like just a pale lavender, neutrally type shade. I don't know if lavender is considered neutral, but to me it's just a, pastel-y lavender. So I'm going to start with that. And I think what I'm going to do today, I think I'm just going to do one eye on camera, and then I'll finish it when I do my makeup, because it saves time, and then that way you can see what it looked like before and then the finished look. I think that's what I'm going to do from now on. I actually saw another YouTuber do that, and I can't think of her name right now. Well, I know Angela Bright, I think is her name. She actually does a zoom like right here, and if you have never watched her before, I really recommend it. She is so amazing. She takes palettes that to me look so boring and is uninteresting, and then when she gets done, I'm like, oh, I think I need that. So it's a good and a bad thing. So that is like barely darker than my skin color, so it's definitely great for transition. Cannot talk today. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go into Cyberpunk. It's this one right here. It's too dark. I was trying not to duplicate shades, but they don't look like it would look good together, so I'm actually going to go in with the Purple Dust. This is what I put on my lid in the first one. And I'm sure it probably picks up on camera. There is some fallout, but again, we're working with shimmers. I think they wanted to kind of present these as metallics, in my opinion, the way that they look and everything, but when you feel them and you see them, I don't think that they are. First thing I'm going to start with, I'm actually going to put 2 colors there. I'm going to start with VR. This is a duochrome right here. This is a duochrome. It's like a pink to purple shift. So it is like a pink to purple duochrome shift. So I'm going to put that in the outer portion of that. You know, I think I'm actually going to use this Lucid. This is, like, to me, the most interesting shade in this palette. So I actually think I'm going to use that one. It's almost like a seafoam green color. So that is the basic look so far. I am going to go finish my other eye and finish my makeup, everything. Well, not that, because that's staying, but my makeup, and I will come back and give you some thoughts on what I thought about the shades that I used today. Okay, I'm going to try to edit out the mowing noise. My neighborhood mows like the communal areas on Mondays, so I'm going to try to edit that out. But this is my finished look. Actually, this is probably the most favorite look I've made with any palette in a really long time. I did, just to recap, I used Cyberpunk on the main area of my inner crease. Then I used Public Dust. Then I used Purple Dust on the inner and outer corner. And then on part of the inner, like the halo, I used YR, just this one. And then I used Lucid on my lid, which is that green color. So just to give you a little bit of view of it. I think this look actually went fantastic. That Lucid shade is like a duochrome, and then mixed with that pink, I'm telling you, is like the coolest shade I've seen in a really long time. So this is look 2. I am going to do one more look. I'm actually going to do a neutral look for the last look, just to show that this one can be used for work, especially if it's something that wants to use one palette and have bright looks and work, or, you know, neutral looks. Okay, for the third look of the Naked Violet palette, I wanted to do a purely neutral, non-purple work look. So I'm going to go in with Mind Slip, it's this one right here, and do a transition shade. Next, I want to deepen it up a little bit. I'm going to go into Hacked. It's this one right here. So one thing this palette I think is missing is, of all the neutrals it is including, it doesn't really have a deep one that I would consider an outer corner shade, really. I think that's definitely something that they missed when they put the palette together. Lastly, I want to do a shimmer. I think I'm actually going to do, there is a shimmer in here, it's called Dazed. So I'm going to do that one, only trying to keep the neutral look, but I believe that if I were doing this look right here, I actually would choose one of the purple shimmers. But if I wanted to show one that has no purple. So I am going to use my finger. I did find with all of these that the finger worked better than the brush. I want to go back in with that Hacked shade. That was the deeper one. I just want to try to give it a little bit more color. And that is the third look. This is obviously nothing fancy and is by far my least favorite look, but I am going to go finish my other eye and the rest of my makeup, and then I'll come back and give you some final thoughts on what I think about this palette. Okay, this is the final look. I did add some black eyeliner. I feel like the look was just a little boring, so I did add some color eyeliner and mascara on the bottom lash. It is one of those that I just feel like it does do neutral looks, but if you're unwilling to do purple, they're not going to be that great of neutral looks, or they're going to be really subtle neutral looks. Now, I do want to say that the colors I used worked really well on this look, especially the mattes were really smooth. Again, I did use the No Slip in the Daze right here, as well as Hacked. So these three right here are what's on my eyes, and I do feel like they worked really well. I think this palette is good. I think that it's probably one of my more favorite Naked palettes. So of the Naked palettes, not just Urban Decay, the Honey palette is definitely my favorite. It is just a better palette as far as I like the tones better. Even though I do tend to lean cool toned, I do like the tone as far as my preference. I do like the tones. These two right here are literally some of the best shimmers I have ever used. They are in the verge of metallic. They actually are stunning, and this whole palette works fantastic. I have not used this and been like, ooh, what happened there? Like, it works fantastic every time. And then the Naked Reloaded palette, I don't really feel as a comparison, just for the sheer fact this does have great quality, works wonderful, but the pops of color in this and some of the metallics in the purple end are just fantastic, and I definitely think I would choose the Ultraviolet over the Naked Reloaded if I were purchasing them today. And then last comparison I have for Urban Decay is the Born to Run palette. And again, I don't think it's really a comparison, not because of quality. This is my favorite palette. It's literally on my top 3 of all the palettes I've ever tried. However, the Violet palette has colors that this doesn't have, and it has the ability, in my opinion, to be a little bit of a more duality. This one has a ton of color, and there are some shades that are almost like duplicated. Like if you look at these 4 up here, they're very similar shades, whereas I feel like this Violet palette actually has a lot of different families or types here. Like these 3 right here are just stunning. That would be Warning, Cyberpunk, and Euphoric are literally just stunning. These last 2 shades, Purple Dust, Digital, I think they could have been a better quality. I think they could have been a better use. My Purple Dust is already getting a hard pan. Also my Daze is getting a hard pan, and I never even used a wet brush with that. That was purely my dry finger. So, and clean, I just washed my hands and dried my hands. So the standout color in this palette, in my opinion, is definitely this Lucid. And then second would be this VR. I don't know, third would probably be this Warning one. This Warning one, I feel like doesn't really do justice. It was in my second look and my first look. I think in both of them, I put it in my crease. In the second look with the Halo Eye, it is the main one on the crease and above the crease. This one is really good. But this Lucid is, it doesn't in the palette look like a duochrome, but on your eye, it just reflects absolutely amazing. This was what drew me to the palette. And then this one, the, where's it, VR? This one is another one that in the palette doesn't look, this was actually on the Halo Eye, on like the outside around Lucid, it like bordered Lucid. I just thought it was really good. So if we look at value and do you need this palette? So again, I talk about this all the time. If you have a really small collection, if you don't have a lot of makeup and you wanted a neutral / pop of color palette, or you wanted to be able to be super colorful some days, but also have a neutral option, I think this could work for you. I don't think the neutral would be enough unless you wanted a subtle look like this every day. I really don't think, or if you're willing to mix the purple at least somewhat in it, I don't think it would work as a duality palette of a neutral and a colorful. However, I would have bought this for a lower price without the neutrals, or maybe just the transition shade. I would have done like a 6-pan palette maybe and had some of these not in it. I just think, especially this digital, I didn't have a lot of luck with. I just didn't think it was very pretty. I thought it was very hard to work with. And this needs to have a really good neutral palette. I think it really does need a deeper tone that can darken things and help them look better. So this hacked shade right here is beautiful. That's what deepened up today. I do think it's gorgeous. I think it works fantastic. However, I do think that it's one of those that isn't deep enough. And if it's not deep enough on my glow in the dark skin tone, it's sure not going to be deep enough on anyone deeper than me, or even, I would say, a light medium. So that is my review of, and 3 looks of the Urban Decay Violet palette. If you can get this on a deal, like I did get, I think it was 20% off. I actually ordered through Cult Beauty in the UK. I actually received this about the same time as it was going on sale in the States. And so I actually did get a discount. I also ordered the Silk Balm by Huda Beauty, and I will be doing a review on that. I got both of those at a discount for being a new subscriber, a new customer. So if you can get this on a discount, I think it's beautiful. I really, if they came out with a 6-pan of those shades I discussed, I absolutely would purchase it and get rid of this one. I just think this is Urban Decay's classic kind of bulky package. This is probably the prettiest they've come out with in a really long time. So if you can get it on a sale, or if it's going to be one of your only palettes and you love purples, if you do a lot of bright looks, or if you're a makeup artist and you're doing a lot of spring looks like for weddings and showers, I think this could be great. But I don't feel like it's a necessary palette as much as I literally, my eyes went to this the minute it was released. It was funny too, because every page I went to was bashing it. Oh, we don't need another Naked. Who wants that? It's nothing. And my eye immediately went to it. And honestly, the 6 shades I think should be a 6-shade palette. I will probably use those a lot, especially that Lucid. That Lucid, again, that's that like seafoam green color. That one is like worth it by itself. If they ever sell it in a single, I will definitely pick it up. Not that they do, but you know. I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on this one. I can't say, oh, you need to go out and get it. But on the same hand, I did really love it, especially the second look with the Halo Eye. I thought it was just gorgeous, and I plan on doing that more often. That is my 3 looks, 1 palette, and review of the Urban Decay Ultraviolet. I hope that if you like eyeshadow reviews, you will like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and make sure you share this with someone you think would appreciate it. And I hope you have a fantastic day.